Tonight, we are starting with a story of resilience. Tomorrow marks 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine, and millions have escaped their cities, leaving their entire lives behind. So tonight, I want to introduce you to Olga, because she's been living in the Sacramento area after leaving Ukraine, where her parents are still living there right now. And she shares the moment that she knew her life would never be the same.
I had my own apartment. I had an awesome job. I had my church, I had my ministry, I had a bunch of friends.
Do you remember the day that the war actually started?
I was sleeping. It was in the morning. I received a call from one of my friends and she was freaking out. And after talking to her, I just had my own time, just praying. And at that moment, actually, I was really calm. I didn't freak out anything, and I just accepted and I said, like, God, if you want me to die right now, I'm ready, like, whatever. I just accepted.
Did you call your family? And
they actually called me because they start freaking out that I'm by myself there, and they're like, I don't have a car, I don't have anything to escape, so they just like start calling like, you need to come here, you need to do something. The only way for me to leave was by train, and there was like lots of people, and I saw this like fear in people's eyes, like when a siren is going on, all of this, and they're like running any directions. It took me like 3 trains and almost like 38 hours to come to my parents by train, because we had to, like, the train had to stop several times because of all the bombing, and we had to turn all our lights, we had to turn our cell phones, we had to turn like everything.
And so when you finally get to your parents, what was that moment like for you?
Oh, it was lots of cries and like happy to see each one another because they haven't seen me like for a year maybe. That was a happy time, and we stayed together in our home, and we invited other just random people, we didn't know them, refugees from Kharkiv, from Dnipropetrovsk, so those cities that had been bombed, we invited them to our house.
When did you decide that you wanted to leave Ukraine?
Actually, God made me to go. It was a sudden decision. My granny, she came to me and she was like, oh, Olga, I saw that in America everyone is welcoming Ukrainians, you should go. I'm like, Granny, come on, who needs us there? Like, relax. And she went, and suddenly I received this, like, you have to go. And my best friend, she was in Budapest at that time. And I was like, okay, let's go. I mean, it was like that. So 1 week, we like packed some stuff. She was in Budapest. I came to her and we got our ticket to Mexico. And yeah, we fly together to Mexico. And actually the flight was on my birthday. So the border crossing was really easy. They brought us there. We just like came, and the US government was giving us humanitarian parole for 1 year. We had our shower, some sleep time, and then they got a bus to Sacramento.
And what's it been like adjusting to Sacramento life?
Oh, this one is hard. I believe because when you're planning to move to US, it's easier. You're thinking about it, you're like planning to do that, you're preparing yourself in your mind. When it's sudden like that, not because you want, but because you have to, it's much harder because you really miss your life there. At the same time, I'm really grateful that this country accepted me. Right now, it's really tough in Ukraine. There is no jobs. There are no like safe places at all. Lots of people lost everything, and they really need a lot. And our country is fighting for freedom.
I want to talk about your parents because they are still back in Ukraine. Yeah. Why did they choose to stay?
My dad can't leave because he's 56, and all the men under the age of 60 cannot leave Ukraine. So officially he can't leave, and my mom doesn't want to leave without him. The second one, but my dad, he was the one telling me, yeah, sure, you should go. And one time I'm gonna come to you.
And for people who may not understand some of the experiences that you had to go through, what do you want them to know about what it is to be Ukrainian and go through this experience?
It's hard to be Ukrainian, but I would say that Ukrainians are really strong. They're really smart and really strong people. And whatever everyone in Ukraine went through, it's gonna have huge impact on our kids. It's gonna have huge impact on all our hearts. And people who hear and see Ukrainians, I would advise to have compassion and to be willing to help, not just like to ignore. I believe that Ukraine is thinking and saying freedom from every country, not allowing such crazy people, crazy Putin, to push on the world. That's what Ukraine, like, even looking at the map, Ukraine is so small and it's standing against such a huge country, right?
Olga said another thing that stuck with me when I sat down with her. She said, it's hard accepting that you are no one here. She said that she feels like her education, her work experience, her line of credit, I mean, everything that she has worked so hard for back home, that it just didn't matter anymore. But she also said that she does have a chance to rebuild something new. She's working to find a job that she loves, and she's also working very closely with a church. This church is called Spring of Life. It's in Orangevale, and they really have helped her find a sense of community and resources. Their Parasolka program supports immigrants and refugees with resources and sponsors. You can find out how to help. All you have to do is go to abc10.com/tothepoint and go to the links mentioned page. And tomorrow we will introduce you to another family who escaped the war in Ukraine. I sat down with the mother and daughter who hid in their basement for days when Russia began to invade.